Hello and welcome to the third module of the Beginner's Guide to Academic Scholarships. In this module, we are looking at crafting a winning application. So we will cover everything from writing a personal statement or statement of purpose to writing a cover letter, motivation letter, and how to prepare a CV, an incredible one that can fit for job purposes and one for admissions. We will also look at how you can make your own admissions application so that you wouldn't need to go through a third person for the person to make the application for you. Finally, we will be discussing how to request for reference or recommendation letters from your referees. So let's begin with statement of purpose or personal statement. So personal statement or statement of purpose for scholarships is an opportunity for you to showcase your unique qualities and your aspirations, and then some experiences you've gained that you believe that it will make you stand out for whoever is going to read your personal statement or statement of purpose. So there are some 10 key elements I would want to share with you. So whenever you are writing a statement of purpose or a personal statement, at least throw in some of these key elements to make sure that your personal statement stands out. The first one we will discuss is the introduction. Introduction, simply you would have to introduce yourself, let the reader have an interest in your personal statement. Tell us something about where you've lived, your experience, which may have influenced your journey. And so there are some examples I would want to share. Let me introduce you to some 3 individuals. So meet Chris, who has lived in the northern part of Ghana. So growing up, Chris was exposed to the community and the people living there, attributing mental health conditions to witchcraft. And so the community and the people would torture those individuals that they believed that they were going through these mental health conditions, even to the extent of evacuating them from their community. And so Chris had an experience from this unfortunate incident, such that Chris's auntie or grandmother had dementia, which the community had to ban them or push them away from, force them out of the community. So Chris can begin his personal statement with having grown up in the northern part of Ghana and being exposed or having to observe that people were being tortured because they had mental health conditions, and there were lack of knowledge that the individuals there knew about, such that the individuals who were accused were either forced out of their communities or they were tortured. I experienced this myself because my auntie also had to go through this torture. And this influenced my decision to further my education, to be able to have a better knowledge on how to deal with mental health conditions. So meet Matthew. Matthew has also lived in the central part of Ghana. Growing up, there were illegal mining activities in that region, therefore water pollution. They were unable to get potable water to drink. For that reason, it influenced his decision to further his education or to gain some information on how to regulate illegal mining or how to protect water bodies. So for these 2 stories, Chris can also begin with his introduction, saying, having lived in this community in the central part of Ghana and growing up to realize humans and animals were all drinking from the same well, but for some illegal mining activities, this water became polluted and humans were suffering from so many conditions from the water bodies, with even the farm animals dying as a result. So I had an interest in pursuing environmental science at the university. And so this can be 2 examples that you can take from, or another example you can also think of, starting from the global level and then coming down to your community. It should always have the link that you may want to contribute something to your community, and therefore the scholarship body or the scholarship committee should look at that and be able to select you to be part of those they are going to give the scholarships to. So another example, topping up my class from the junior level to high school, I had the opportunity to pursue a BSc in nursing at the university. This has been a result that we're one of the communities with the highest number of teenage pregnancies. So we know that SDGs, or Sustainable Development Goals, are meant to be able to reduce infant mortality. But as a result of this higher number of teenagers getting pregnant, the higher mortality rate has increased, or there has been higher mortality rates in my community, in the whole of my region, or in the whole of my country. So this has been the reason why I've had an interest to pursue BSc nursing at the university. So these can be some examples that you can throw more light on for your introduction. And when you move on to the next key elements, you would need to discuss your personal challenges and how you were able to overcome those challenges. So now I've given you 3 examples. So for these 3 examples, how do you discuss these challenges and how were you able to overcome them? So it can be that because of these challenges, you needed to pause your education, or you needed to put a halt on your education at some time before you were able to further your education, since there were some financial difficulties. And so going through these tough times, even at the university, I had to take several jobs to be able to buy study materials, or even at some point to borrow from my friends to be able to keep up with the studies at the university. So these are some of the challenges you can discuss. So how were you able to overcome these challenges? I had to borrow from friends, study materials from friends at some point, and I had to work double shift to be able to make an income to be able to purchase the study materials. And even through all these struggles, I was able to come up with a first class. So that is some of the things that any person reading your personal statement would want to see. Going through struggles and how you have been able to overcome the struggles. They are not interested in just your struggles. They are interested in how you were able to overcome the struggles. So the third key element will be your academic achievements, which I have just mentioned. After going through the struggles, now you have been able to achieve maybe most outstanding students, got the higher grades, was the most influential students on campus. These are some of the things that you can show off, even though you had to go through all the struggles. So that is the third element, or the third key element. Tell them or write in what you got, or what academic achievements you can show off. Is it the first class that you got? Is it a second class upper? Or were you the best performing student in your faculty or your school? These are some of the academic achievements you can show off. So the next element, you can then discuss some extracurricular activities that you were part of. Were you part of the students' union, or were you the academic school officer? How did you participate, or how did you commit to other extracurricular activities? So maybe you were the course rep, or you were the class rep at some point in the university. And so through that, what are some of the skills that you were able to gain from those activities that you engaged in? Were you part of the sporting department? So you can highlight some of the skills, whether it's having to stand in front of larger students population to communicate, whether it was having to discuss issues with the students' body, or whether it was having to address the management of their school. These are some of the skills that you can mention in your personal statement. And if you had the opportunity to be involved in any community services or volunteering, you can then mention those things in there. If you had the opportunity to serve in a community or to be part of any ongoing project in your community, you can then mention those in there. It's good to be able to have a balance between your education and then engaging in other activities in the community. This is going to put you ahead of those who are just concentrated on one part of their lives, such as just education.